In this video, I'm going to break down how we made 4 hires and added over $1 million in profit for a wholesale diabetic supplies client, our thought process, how we approach the role, and the key things to watch out for. The 4 Latin American hires cut $250,000 a year off of what the team would have cost to build in the United States. And the founder says they helped add $1 million in profit. I'm going to link that video down below in the description where he describes his experience working with us. And here's the thing that most people get wrong about some of the offshore hiring. Done right, it's not just going to save you money. You're not trying to just save a couple of cheap bucks on labor. It's the right person in the right role is going to make you a lot more money than they save you. And that's what we're going to break down in today's video. So a little context on the client. They run purchasing departments for their own company, but then other companies moving diabetic supplies between pharmacies, storefronts, and end users. It's basically this big buy and sell machine. The margin lives in buying the right supplies and selling to the right person at the right time and at the right price. So they needed 4 roles: a pharma sales rep, a sales manager, a customer success manager, and a lead purchasing manager. And here's what the problem is. You can't just hire some generic sales hire. Without the industry understanding or the dynamics, they're not going to be able to succeed without a ton of training. So the problem isn't, hey, let's just go find some sales hires, train them up. We need people who already understand this very, very specific model that they're running in the medical supply space. And this is exactly where a job board would fail you. If you post this on LinkedIn, Upwork, Fiverr, any type of online traditional job board, you're going to get 200 plus applicants who are just generic sales applicants. None of these people have touched wholesale buy and sell models. They just see the salary, they start applying. And this is a problem because you need someone who's very specific, knows the industry, has minimal ramp up time because they've already worked inside of the industry. And that's why we exist, to solve that problem and just find people who have that industry experience so they can hit the ground running from day one. So let's break down the team structure real quick. In the buy and sell side, there's always going to be different team members who are working in each of those sides. There might be a manager who's over top who has experience in the sell side and also the buy side a little bit further along in their career. So what we did from the bottom up, we built a pharma sales rep who's doing that heavy outbound calling into these pharmacies. And then we had a sales manager who's basically leading a team of several of these pharma sales reps, a customer success manager who's keeping the client counts happy, and then a lead purchasing manager who's that most senior person, has the experience in the buy and sell side. They're kind of that brain behind the engine and the metrics. Now, the next thing we had to do was getting the sourcing right. And this is something that's kind of non-obvious. The one trait that really mattered was the US market wholesaling experience, specifically the medical niche. It's not a keyword. You can't search for that on LinkedIn. You can't just Google that. You can't send someone who just wholesaled some random goods for a domestic company. We need someone who's specifically in this medical niche. So what we did is we didn't screen by a bunch of resumes and go mass apply and post a bunch of jobs. What we did is we figured out what companies already exist inside of this market, what companies have talent in Latin America, and who is open to possibly switching from those companies to work with our client. And because this is so outbound heavy, especially with that pharma sales rep, the sales manager, that lead purchasing manager, we needed to focus on people who actually just lived and breathed sales from that US market experience, not someone who was maybe selling in Brazil or Latin America, but someone who's located there, who specifically worked for that US market. And this is just that part that you can't get from job boards or just searching endlessly on LinkedIn. The trait that actually mattered was the companies that these people work for, that industry experience. We have to go headhunt those types of individuals. We can't just sit and wait for those people to come in off of job boards and hope that we're able to fill that role for the client. It's the whole reason that clients come to us to fill these roles. They can't find these people. They need very, very specific experience, and we were able to deliver in this scenario. The geography we chose wasn't South Africa or Europe or the Philippines. And the reason was because the founder actually lives in Latin America and has dozens of team members there already. And if you're thinking like offshore or nearshore means lower quality, accent problem, the important thing that you need to get right is the specificity of who you're going after. Because if I throw up a job post and I say $6 an hour for an executive assistant, a sales rep, whatever it may be, that's kind of the entry level. The accents are not going to be good. The skills are not going to be good. But if you aim higher than that and you're specific with who you're going for, you're in a small market, you're able to get some people who are fantastic at what they do and they work incredibly hard. And so we found people who are already operating at those US standards. They were that same quality, but for a fraction of the cost. Now, if we look at the actual impact, the numbers of how it affects the business, the 4 hires that were each filled in under 5 weeks from start to finish saved over $250,000 a year in payroll. And in his own words, these 4 hires added over $1 million in profit because the right people running that buy and sell engine aren't just costing less for him, but they're actually making the whole machine work a lot better and making him significantly more money. So if you run a business with a very specific model and a generic hire, someone off of a job board isn't actually going to cut it for you, this is the exact build that we'll do. We'll map out the roles in your business and go find the talent that others can't. We've done it 400 plus times. The link's in the description of this video. Book a call and I'll map out your business and show you exactly where you can find the talent.